Hi, I'm Yin Hangu. Have you ever put an all-nighter rereading all your notes over and over and only to blank out on the exam? You are not alone. And it's not because that you're lazy or what. It turns out most students keep using study methods that feel effective but actually don't work in long run. This problem lead me to a powerful TikTok lesson by scientists, Robert and Elvis Bonjour called Three Tips on How to Study Effectively. Their video introduced the idea of desirable difficulties, struggles that feel hard in the moment but lead less learning. But if these methods are so effective, why don't students use them? That's my research questions. Why do students present in using ineffective study methods despite clear evidence supporting struggles like space per practice, interleaving, and without practice? After analyzing many academic studies, I find that the answer isn't that simple. It's not just about ignorance. Instead, students are caught in a perfect storm of mechatronic evolutions, real-world pressures, and systems that don't support better habits. In short, we think we are learning when we are not. And ever we know better, environments make it hard to change. Let's start with active recall. When you reread a textbook or highlight your notes, the material feels, so familiar. So you assume that you learned it. But as John Dot Lucy explains in America Educator, this, feeling is actually misunderstood. These private regulators create strong retrieval strains. You can recall it right now, but after a few weeks, it won't be a long-term memory in your brain. This new theory of disuse. Your brain conflicts ease with materials. So even when students knows that self-testing works better, they prefer to reread under pressure because it feels productive in the moment. But it's not just a cognitive trap. Students also make rotational trade-offs, cover equity found engineering students using ineffective methods like reviewing old exams not just to memorize but to understand exam format, reduce anxiety, and plan their time. Their choice reflects self-regulate learn learning across emotional, motivational, and strategic dimension. There's the intention and action gap. Blaisman, Donlowski, and Rossum served students who planned to space out studying and use practice tests, but when finals hit, they cry and reread. Why? Because real life, deadlines, multiple courses, push them toward to the path of least resistance. Worse still, the system itself works against us. Rohar, Derek, and Harwick analyzed six popular middle school math textbooks and found that over 90% of practice problems were blocked, not interleaved. That means students are trained off they want to solve problems in unpredictable, repetitive ways, exactly the opposite of what builds fixable understanding. So what is the solution? Just telling students to study better doesn't work. Waxel green and black test an interventional that combines instructions with forced experience, like quantitative quizzes. It reduced highlighting and rereading, but didn't increase use of the best strategies. Why? Because this desirable difficulties feel uncomfortable, and no one adopts this comfortable voluntarily. Here's the takeaway. Ineffective study habits aren't a sign of laziness. They are a symbol of a broke feedback loop between behaviors, environment. To fix it, we need more than tips. We need tools that make effective strategies easy to stick with. Curricula that normalize spacing and mixing, and teachers who explain why struggle leads to stress. Imagine if your flashcards add to schedule reviews, your homework mixed old and new topics, and your teacher reward effort over fluency. That's not a fantasy. It's what the science already spots. So next time you open your notes, ask, am I just feeling smart or am I actually getting smart? Choose a harder path. Embracing the struggle because real learning doesn't feel easy, but it lasts. Thank you for listening.